love the call out. I'm a big fan of it. I think that it's important to do. I think that when the marketing for one fight ends, the marketing for the next fight begins instantly right there on the microphone, right there in that post-fight interview. I think there's a case for that is very obvious and that is very successful. Now, you do have to understand a few things with the call out, okay? First off, you're seeking attention. You're not just seeking to steer the ship of your own career with your own ideas and your own wishes. You're also looking for attention and you're looking for headlines. Now, there's a guy out there that they're calling Khabib 2.0. Swedish fighter, great, just fought over the weekend, first round, TKO victory, had like 105 strikes on his opponent, 2 strikes back by his opponent. Look good. I see the comparisons to Khabib. He came out, he did a call out of Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, or Robbie Lawler. Now, for a guy who I have to refer to as Khabib 2.0 because I do not know his name, to get on the docket with one of the 3 guys I just mentioned is a lofty goal. But that doesn't mean that he's not still right for doing it. Most ideas in life, people will start out with by going, why did you do that? And they'll conclude by going, how did you do that? So you have to start somewhere. If Khabib 2.0 is getting shut down because of his idea, it doesn't mean he had the wrong idea. The first step to getting something done is largely being met with resistance, but it still creates a headline, which is your ultimate goal in the first place. What is a little bit perplexing to me is the state of MMA right now. The 3 most called out fighters in the sport are George St-Pierre, Conor McGregor, Henry Cejudo. What do they all have in common? They're all retired. I don't know if we've ever had a situation like this before where the 3 most called out guys in the entire industry are all retired. They're all unlicensed. They're all saying, I'm not going to do it. Look, if you get called out, it's very hard to not accept the challenge. The playground rules still apply. You don't have to fight a guy, but you have just conceded to your peers that you can't beat the guy. Whether that's right or wrong, that is the perception that gives off. If you get called out and you're retired, you don't have to respond at all. As a matter of fact, they just did you a favor. You have the easiest out in the world, which is, I'm retired. It's not I'm refusing to do something and I'm a bully. I'll only take invitations and challenges from those that I've deemed weaker than me. So I'm not taking invitations or challenges from anybody. It's just a perfect scenario. So when you do call out somebody that's retired, are you wrong to do so? It's an interesting question. I've never been confronted with it. I don't know that I have ever seen it. I just talked to Henry, by the way. I just talked face-to-face FaceTime call with Henry Cejudo to try to get a little bit of clarity on what he's going to do. Is he going after Volkanovski? Is he coming back and he's going to take on Jan? Is he going over to the Middle East and he's going to box this Garcia kid? After talking with Henry, who has baffled me for over 2 months now, I came away with a very clear understanding of nothing. I know nothing more now from talking to him. I am possibly more confused. Henry even went to the point of saying, Uncle Chael, what do you think I should do? Well, I don't have the foggiest idea, Henry. What is it you want to do? He said, well, I kind of do want to go box this guy, but I'm watching these other guys that I know I can beat, and they're getting all this glory and they're, that competitive side of me. But Henry, what is it you want to do? So, well, you have to ask yourself, this is Henry talking. He said, you got to ask yourself, when is enough enough? There's never going to be a time I don't want to do one more. So at what point should I just stop and not have one more? The last one was the last one. Very fair question. Got no problem with anything Henry said. It just brings me back to my original premise that I'm telling you, that I know nothing. I've gotten no further in solving the baffling mystery that is Henry Cejudo's next career move than I had before the phone call. It was nice to talk to him. He looked great. He looked like he was fit and in shape. It looks like he could go take on Jan, move up, take on Volkanovski, or go over and do some boxing with Garcia. I don't know a ton about this Ryan Garcia. I'm interested in him. Young guy, undefeated, read up on him a little bit, watched him on YouTube, all because of the Henry chatter and talk. I mean, looks like an interesting opponent. My understanding is he is under contract with De La Hoya, who is under contract with DAZN. So it's not as free thinking and forming of an idea as you might think. There are some parameters that would have to be met within those boxing contracts. I don't know how that would look, but if Henry says my phone is ringing and I have an opportunity to go fight Ryan Garcia, in the Middle East, I tend to believe him. I tend to understand that he knows what those parameters are, and he's going to be able to get some kind of a amendment made to his current contract that's with the UFC and be able to go and do that match. Possibly. Possibly. All the same, Henry Cejudo has found a way to keep his name in front of everybody's face, on the tip of everybody's tongue, without competing. We got guys that have had fights in the last week, that have fights coming up in the next week, that can't get all the headlines and all the speculation of Henry Cejudo. I don't know what his next move is going to be, any more than I knew before I talked to him, but I can tell you this: Henry is continuing to write the book. And it's a book that you others might want to read.